Hello? Who's this? 2020? What's up? I need to be buying sports cards? And here are 3 reasons why. This is Eric from Cash Cultura, and I'm going to tell you why you need to be buying sports cards in 2020. Number 1. There's an actual community for sports cards. This will put it into perspective. So there's tons of memorabilia out there, different categories, right? I mean, there's coin collecting, there's memorabilia for sports, basketball, signed shoes, jerseys. And even though that's probably the daddy of them all, right? You trying to get that signed LeBron jersey or whoever you collect, there's not an actual community. There's not people who make massive groups. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of groups talking about signed LeBron James jerseys, right? But when it comes to sports cards, whether you go to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, there's tons of forums, you will find an actual community that welcomes sharing knowledge, that welcomes questions, that welcomes trading, selling, buying sports cards. So that is a massive distinction between sports cards and other memorabilia. All right, so I just moved into this house. I was blessed enough this year to be able to buy my first home for me, my wife, my daughter, and our little dog. And I noticed one thing that really did it for me, and I think it was the reason why we pulled the trigger on this home, and it's because there's an actual community in this neighborhood. I grew up in what you would call a ghetto area in El Paso, Texas, and there was not a massive community feeling, but we knew our neighbors. I could walk, and I would do it all the time. I would be out at 1 a.m. and there was no issue. Whenever I moved out and I was renting a house, I noticed that living there didn't really seem fulfilling in regards to the actual house, the real estate. I didn't feel an actual attachment or love for it because there was no community. I remember that literally the first time that we went to go walk our dog, it was me and my pregnant wife at the moment. We walked our dog around maybe 11 p.m. It was quite late, and I mean it seemed like a safe neighborhood, and it was for the most part, right? But we were walking to the park and we hear this car just bark, literally like a guy was just barking, and we ignored the guy, and 5 minutes later it passes again and it starts barking at us, right? So I told my wife, hey, is this guy heckling us? Like, what's going on, right? So they passed again and they start barking. So that was it. All gloves were off, and I became really irate, and to the point where I was willing to get into an altercation with these people, and that's not me, right? So that was the beginning of me living in this place, and then I didn't know my neighbors. We wouldn't talk. There was no sense of an actual community, so it was not fulfilling living there. I moved. We get into negotiations to buy this house, and before we even move in, I already know most of my neighbors. They're great people. They know who my daughter is. They love her. They enjoy seeing her. They know who our dog is. Obviously, they know us. They give us recommendations on our lawn, on whatever we need. They'll share tools with us. It's just an actual community. And that is exactly what I feel in sports cards. I have made a ton of friends, and I'm a social person, right? I always have been, but I have never made this many friends anywhere other than the sports cards community. You are welcomed immediately if you have integrity. That's all you need to have in respect, and you'll be welcomed when you have questions about, hey, what's a box break? What do you guys think about this box of sports cards that I found at Walmart? Is this any good? How much is this sports card worth? Right? People will gladly help, teach, and guide you through your journey. So there's a ton of great people that I've come across that I do want to give a little shout out to, because they've been amazing friends, and they've supported the movement and the initiatives that we have going on. CJK7786 from Canada. I know your package took months to get there, from a small giveaway. I think that was our first giveaway, right? Yeah, that was our first giveaway. We did a live Twitter. We had maybe 2 people tune in, and sometimes we still have 2 people tune in. It doesn't matter. We don't do it for that. We just do it to give things away, to create generosity within our circle. CJK won it. He was the only one commenting, and he was super hyped. He ended up getting a Vlad, and he just got it, I think, last week. Congratulations on your newborn. I know you'll be a great father. It's an amazing experience, and I can't wait for you to share pictures and your journey with them. Dustin Jacobs, 23, great friend, amazing football sales. Follow him. Dr. Cody Goss, he always supports, so I appreciate you. Burchell, shout out to Australia. I appreciate you always tuning in and just being a great friend. IT Guy 8706, shout out to you, Garrett, to Parker. It's great being a part of that journey at whatever capacity we have been, and you being able to share not just the journey with you teaching Parker the art of sports cards, but just everything in regards to your beautiful family. So big shout out to you. Follow him. Romero 94, again, someone who always supports. Appreciate you. Nick P. Flume. So this is a great story, because he participated in one of our giveaways where we gave away some Mosaic, and it was extremely tough to find. I literally went to every Walmart I was off for a week, so I went to every Walmart almost every day. And I wanted it so bad enough to where I drove to the next city, and this is it's not a small city. There's over 1 million people that live here in El Paso, Texas, and I drove to Las Cruces, to all the Walmarts and Targets over there, to New Mexico. Yeah, so I didn't find, and then eventually I found some, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm gonna rip some, but I'm gonna give it away. So I ended up giving some away. Nick Flu was one of the winners, and he actually made a YouTube video. I'll share the link of the video, and he shared with us that he had not ripped for 30 years, and this was the first pack that he ripped.
Eric, otherwise known as Cash Cultura. Thanks, man, for this pack. Just got it in the mail, and this will be the first pack that I have opened in, I don't know, close to 30 years, probably. 30 years. And so here we go. I figured I would show you. Gotta get used to this, doing this on camera. What do you think, Laners? Look at this. Look at that. Awesome. Here's something that's also much different about 30 years ago. I poured myself some wine to do this. Cheers, E. Sweet. First, oh man. That is sweet. Bam.
Big shout out to him. Follow him. MJ Marriott, wealth of knowledge. El Cannon Breaks. So he also makes YouTube videos. Follow him. Another great guy, big supporter of just anyone who is kind in the hobby. Chris KRISEGG33 _ another super kind guy. He shares a little bit about his life, and that to me is awesome. He's positive, so big shout out to him. Make sure you give him a follow. And Old Town Cards, a lot of people know him. JB, another guy that's a wealth of knowledge. He's super cool, fun to follow, and make sure you check out his videos. He has some pretty awesome interviews. So community, number one. Number two, sports cards is just cool. They're just cool to collect. So a lot of people have collected different things throughout their life. I have collected rocks. I used to go to the swap meet. If you're from El Paso and you don't know what El Bronco is, then I don't know about you. I can't talk to you. We can't be friends. I used to go to El Bronco, and I actually put my wife onto El Bronco when we were in high school. When we were in high school, she called me and she was like,
I used to go with my family.
She was like, how do I get to El Bronco? And I told her.
And you didn't even know how.
So anyway, I used to go to El Bronco, and I would ask my mom to buy me rocks, like super unique rocks, and I would collect them around the house and anywhere I would go. And then eventually I started collecting Pokemon cards, and I have them. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to go to my mom's house. I'm going to get that binder, and I'm going to see what I have. Pokemon cards are booming. So, and then I started collecting wrestling action figures. I have a few, but I would buy a lot of them used from the swap meet. And eventually, now I got into this. So the way I see it is, if collecting and sports made a baby, it would be sports cards. It's just awesome to collect a card of an athlete, of a player who you really admire, who you've been watching, and if you play sports yourself, who you possibly mirror as far as their skill set when it comes to playing basketball, soccer, baseball. And now you're able to get a very exclusive card. Or it might not be exclusive, it might just be, a base card, but something you really, really like. It's just incredible to just be able to, look at it, put it into a penny sleeve, a top loader, protect it, put it away. They're just absolutely cool to collect. I personally collect Kobe Bryant. I've talked about it in previous videos and why I collect Kobe Bryant and what I admire about Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. And another rest in peace is to Eddie Guerrero, which is the unique part of my collection, because I don't think that Eddie Guerrero cards are going to blow up and just go through the roof. I mean, wrestling in general is trending up. I think that people who collect wrestling collected the action figures or different things like that, but now I've seen more of them getting into sports cards, but they collect the super Hall of Famers, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, all them. The reason I collect Eddie Guerrero is because he was a hell of a technician in the ring. So he wasn't just a great act, right? You would go and you would just see the passion in him. He would make you laugh, he would make you angry, whatever it was. He was a great act. But in the ring, when it came to the actual wrestling moves, he had blueprint form. He had a fundamental technical ring experience that was just unparalleled. There was only a few that were able to do what he did in the ring, and he comes from a bloodline of just warriors. His dad is top 3. Some people say he is the best Mexican wrestler of all time. And he had uncles, brothers, cousins. His wife was a wrestler. So he just comes from a warrior bloodline. And he's from El Paso, Texas. My dad knew some of his family. So it's heartfelt. It's unique. You collect what you want to collect, and that's the beauty of this. The last thing that I want to talk about is the main reason why this is not just a boom in sports cards. This is the actual rebirth of an entire market. And I know that a lot of people say, hey, well, this has been going on for years. And yes, it has been going on for years. I would, if I could say, maybe for the past decade is where the actual rebirth of the sports card market happened, right? But think about it this way: when the junk wax era happened and everyone who collected at that point, their cards just went to absolute pennies or just were worth nothing. There was only one way to go, and that was up in regards to the sports card market. So of course it's been on an incline. Of course it's been trending up because it hit the absolute floor. But in regards to people actually paying attention and there being a demand for sports cards, there's been probably a decade worth of that, and I've been able to notice off of data that I've seen on the internet, videos, just speaking and talking to people, right? That's all you have to do. Just engage with people and talk to them in a genuine form, and you'll be able to get informed with a lot of this stuff. And it's a entire rebirth of a market, and the primary factor is because we're in the information age, aka the internet era. So you have the availability to speak with billions of people, right? You have Google Translate. You can literally speak to someone in a different country. And that just makes it so much easier if you're new to be able to learn, get informed, watch videos, talk to people who know this craft, this art. And if you have sports cards, if you already have the knowledge and you want to buy, sell, or trade, right, you have a massive audience available that you can sell to, whether it's through eBay. I know a lot of people are getting away from that, which is a whole different conversation, a whole different video. Or you can do it through Facebook, through Twitter, Instagram, Marikai, ComC. There's just so many options out there. Whereas before, you weren't able to just sell your card for what it was actually worth if you were in a small town and there was only a very few people that collected. It was virtually impossible to always get what your card was worth, and now you're able to do that, right? You're able to sell to whoever's willing to pay the most for that card, right? A lot of people have been able to turn their passion, their hobby, into a side job because of how easy it is to be able to sell. And that right there, this factor is what's going to be able to sustain this market for the long term. A LeBron James card going for $1 million, whoever bought this card is probably someone who sees this as something that is going to appreciate in price even more than $1 million. Think about that. So if someone is willing to spend that much money in 2020, it's because they see, they have a vision of what it's potentially going to be worth in 2030, right? So it doesn't have to be that $1 million card that does it for you. You can scale up. You can start at a card that's worth $1, you sell it for $5, and that $5 card you sell it for $10, and that $10 card you sell it for $25, and that $25 card you sell it for $50, and so on and so on. Or maybe you do have a little bit of capital and you can buy $100 card because you understand that this rookie is has shown fundamental ability to play basketball The data shows it. You spend $100 on that auto, and maybe in 3-4 years it's worth $5,000. With all that said, you need to be buying sports cards in 2020. And if you don't have the funds or the capital to buy them, then you're in the right place. Because if you have not seen our videos, then you need to watch them, because every video that we do, we talk about giveaways, and we do it because it's what makes us happy. Without further ado, I'm going to announce that we're doing a big giveaway. So I'm going to fill these 2 boxes with sports cards, thousands of them. One winner and another winner. So 2 winners. And this is the way that it's going to work. So I'm going to be filling these boxes up with all of these sports cards. So it's going to be very, very easy for you to enter this giveaway. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're already here. Subscribe, hit that like button. Sign up for the notifications, right? So whenever our videos drop, you're aware, because there will be a lot more of these. You see Hall of Famers, we see some of the newer era. And last, comment below and tell me what you plan on doing if you win these, right? If you're going to, keep some of the cards, if you're going to sell them, resell them, sell them in a lot. Talk to me a little bit about that. I would love to know. And also comment below if you know whose jersey this is that I'm wearing right here. If you know, big shout out to you. Write it in the comments. So this is what Cash Cultura is all about. Our vision for the future is to be generous, to be kind, and to help others out, and to bring people into this amazing community and not be selfish with it, right? I don't want any people to limit the amount of people that come in. I welcome everyone, and this is a great way to start. If you don't own one sports card, please participate. I would love for you to get your hands on this and for this to be a starter kit, because this basically has different cards of different eras. You'll get super familiar. You'll be able to sort them out, and it'll just be the perfect way for you to get into the hobby. Or if you're an experienced person, it's a great way to add to your personal collection and to resell the rest and get yourself, another piece to your personal collection. So this is all. Make sure that if you have a Twitter, that you follow us on Twitter. The links are going to be below. If you have IG, make sure you follow us on IG. I will, in the following week, I will drop more information on how you can get an additional entry into the giveaway. Other than subscribing to YouTube, leaving the comment and liking and doing the notifications, you will have the option to have another entry. I will post that on YouTube. As far as like those posts that you can put, I will put one of those. I will post it on Twitter and on Instagram. That way you have additional ways of having more entries. And that's it. Please support, right? This is for you. This is for you. It's because of how grateful we are to be part of this community. So thank you very much, and hope y'all tune in for the next one. Oh, sorry, I forgot. This right here is going to run for 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, on a Saturday, is when we announce the 2 winners. All right, so make sure that you start participating immediately and that you share this video with someone that could benefit from this. All right, see y'all.